Hi, I'm Mike with Mike'sTravelGuide.com, and welcome to our weekly Q&A travel show, the show that helps you plan your trip to Europe. We got questions about our video series and web pages pertaining to Venice. And if you haven't seen our video series, you can do that by clicking here. And if you want more information about Venice, you can do that by clicking here. Sharon writes, "Hi there, I have found your website great for info and advice in planning our trip to Italy next year. You spoke of an app that was very useful for getting around Venice. Could you please send me the correct name?" Hi Sharon, the app I was referring to was Stay. Now you can download Stay on your iPhone or Google device, and once you download the app, it allows you then to download various maps for a different destination you're visiting. So you can download a map for Venice. And not only can you download a map, but you can also enter in the sites, museums, restaurants you want to go to. You can do that all prior to your trip. And this is going to help you negotiate Venice in a much better way. Now, I will say this, it's great in the major cities, Paris, Amsterdam, Stay works perfect. But in Venice, it's kind of iffy, and it's not the fault of Stay. Any type of map app, whether it's Google Maps or Apple Maps, is going to have some sort of issue in Venice. And it has to do with the way that Venice has their numbering system. Stay is going to get you pretty close to your destination, but you will have to probably walk a little bit around the block to find your specific restaurant. It's great with the major places, the museums and things of that nature, but with specific restaurants and addresses like that, it's going to get you close. Now, one of the things that Stay offers that Google Map doesn't is Google Map will show you where you're located, but Stay will actually show which direction you're facing. So in other words, with Google Map, you may have to walk maybe 1/10 of a mile to figure out you're going the wrong way. With Stay, as you rotate around, it'll actually show you which direction you're facing and which direction you're going. So Stay does a much better job than any other app I've seen. So I'd highly recommend that you download the app before you go, download the cities before you go, and spend a few minutes entering your major sites like your hotel, the museums and sites you want to visit, and the restaurants you want to go to. And our second question is from Sarah. Sarah asks, "Hi Mike, I'm visiting Venice next week with some family. We want to go to the Basilica and include visiting the museum. The time we'll get there is around 3 p.m. Do you recommend using the fast track option at this time, or do we chance the main entrance? And if we use the fast track option once in, is there a separate desk to pay for the museum? Many thanks, Sarah." Hi Sarah, thanks for the question. All I can do is tell you our experience. We went to Venice in mid-April of 2014, and we also arrived at the Basilica around 3 p.m. Now there was a line, it wasn't a large line, and we got through in about 15 minutes. It wasn't that bad. But I have seen it during the day where that line was extremely long. So I think it's just going to depend on what time of the year you're visiting and obviously the time of day that you're there. For us, we got in and we didn't use the fast track option. As far as getting into the various museums, those are separate lines once you get inside the Basilica. And again, I think it's going to depend on what's going on in that day. If there's a cruise ship in place, I think you might have more of an issue getting in. But everyone's in the same boat once you're inside the Basilica. So if you want to see the museum, you're going to have to wait in line just like everyone else. And now it's time for this week's travel tips. The first travel tip is while touring through Europe, I highly suggest that you visit the various churches and cathedrals. Now, I'm not a religious guy, and I don't visit the churches for any religious reason. I go there because all of the artists and architects during that time period spent their time building churches and decorating churches. And in essence, it's really visiting a museum of that time period. Another reason to consider visiting the churches is most of the time they're free. So whether you're in France, Spain, Germany, the Netherlands, or Belgium, and even Italy, it's something to see. Now, I will say this, a lot of the notable churches in Italy do charge to get in, but they're normally not that expensive. But all in all, seeing churches is a free way to visit museums that showpiece the works of that time period. And our second travel tip for the week is, while touring the various cities, consider purchasing one of the city cards. What the city cards allow you to do is to pay one price and to visit most of the museums within that city. Now, some of the cards are very beneficial, like the Paris Museum Pass. With the Paris Museum Pass, you get to see most of the things in the city, and it really does pay for itself very quickly. Other cards, like the Amsterdam City card, they do pay for itself if you purchase the 48-hour card, but it doesn't pay for itself with the 24-hour card. So within 24 hours, you got to go within the time frame that the museums are open, and it's really going to be hard to justify the Amsterdam City card. Other ones, like the Roma Pass, you have to be really good to make it pay for itself. Now, one benefit about buying these cards is most of the time they allow you to skip the ticket line, which is worth something. And that's definitely worth paying for. But I recommend that you evaluate each ticket, each city card on its own, and see which cards are right for you. The other thing that they do allow you to do is, especially like, let's say, the Amsterdam City card or the Paris Museum Pass, is they allow you to tour museums you wouldn't normally pay to get in. And if you don't like the museum after the first 5 or 10 minutes, you can just leave and not have to worry about the money you spent to get in. So it does give you a certain freedom to tour more places. But like I said, there are limitations, and I highly recommend that you view these cards prior to getting into the city and see what the financial benefit will be before purchasing these cards. And our final travel tip for this week has to do with eating in Venice. When eating in Venice, especially lunch, I highly recommend that you don't go to any sit-down restaurants. Most of these places are rip-offs, and you're not going to get a good meal at most of the places in Venice. I do recommend that you go to the various cicchetti bars. And the cicchetti bars are very similar to the Spanish tapa bars. They're places that normally serve wine or small little items that you can get and eat on the side for very little money. So in other words, most of the cicchettis, you're going to be about €1.50 for each one. And about 3 or 4 cicchettis will kind of fill you up at least enough for lunchtime. And the quality of these are pretty decent, especially for the price you pay for them. So save yourself some money, save yourself some time, and definitely get a much better meal by trying the various cicchettis. If you're interested in what we recommend, you can check out our page here, and it gives you the list of a few places that we ate during our time in Venice. And this week's recommendation, sticking with the Venice theme, we highly recommend La Boutique del Gelato. It's the best place in all of Venice to get gelato. In fact, it's one of the only places that actually make their gelato on site. So if you want more information about La Boutique del Gelato, click here. Well, that's it for this week. Thanks for watching. If you have a question, you can email me here. And please like this video and subscribe to our YouTube channel.